Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is the Imperfect Ashlers Masonic Podcast. All the views and opinions stated on this show are strictly those of the host and their guests and do not reflect the opinions of any Masonic Lodge or Grand Lodge. What's up, y'all? We are the Imperfect Ashlers back with episode number 11. And before we get started, we want to, offer our own condolences and our best wishes and prayers. Those that do know Brother Rusty Beck, our immediate past Grand Master, has been suffering with stage 4 lung cancer.
Stage 4.
And recently has lost his wife, and we just found out not too long ago has actually lost a son as well in a drowning accident. So those of you that are willing and able, please lift up prayers and whatever good thoughts you could send their way. Definitely, they need them a lot more than I can ever imagine right now.
Hey, maybe we should pray for Brother Rusty right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Let's do that. I like that.
Heavenly Father, God, we come to you, Lord, and we just we lift up Brother Rusty, God, and we know he is a good man, Lord, and we know he's one of your children, God. We ask you, God, to comfort him during his time of loss, Lord. We ask you, God, to give him strength, Lord, in this battle that he's facing with the cancer, Lord. And we pray, God, that you would touch his family in a way that only you can, God. Give them strength, give them peace, Lord. And we ask these things in your name. Amen.
So mote it be.
So mote it be, brother.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody actually pray on a recording like that, but I like that. And I do appreciate that. So we'll jump right into everything right now. I know you've got a list over there. What we got coming up?
It's not much of a list, but
St. Clair and Talladega County Masonry.
Upcoming stuff. Okay, so starting out July the 11th at Benham Jacobs, we have the initiation of Jeremy Turley.
And that's going to be day after tomorrow.
And that is day after tomorrow. If anybody can be explained, but that's okay. That's okay. But we'll have that initiation. Then July the 20th, we've got the chapter meeting at
York
Right, there at Birmingham Metro.
Yep.
And that'll be starting at 9 o'clock. We usually get there about 8:30, so we can eat a donut and a cup of coffee. Yeah. And then on July the 27th, we have the Knights Templar Ball.
And explain a little bit about that. Go into that.
Okay, the Knights Templar Ball. This is
obviously not just for York, right?
This is raising funds for a minister to go to the Holy Land. Every year we raise money up for people to go to the Holy Land, and I think that's what the ball is. They try to find a minister who's never been there, and they send them over there because they feel like that trip enriches their
kind of
ministry.
Gives them a point of view.
Yeah, it enriches their ministry, and then they can bring that back to their churches and their community, and that's a good thing.
Now, you may or may not know. Do you know how to maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Nominate. I guess you could say a pastor or anything.
So they have to be a full-time pastor at a church, and from what I know is that any pastor can be, as long as he's never gone to the Holy Land, and he does have to be the full-time pastor at the church.
I got you. Okay. Now, what I know you have some notes about that. I know you don't have to be a Yorkite Mason, correct?
To attend the Knights Templar Ball, you do not have to be a Yorkite Mason. It's open to all Masons. However, this is a tuxedo or a commandery uniform.
It's a formal.
So it is a
white
formal,
or black.
And the women are typically in evening gowns or ball dresses.
I got you. Okay.
It's a great time though, and I look forward to it every year. The last year was real good. The year before I had COVID. But it's just a really fun time to get together with the brethren and hang out and cut loose. And we get out there and dance on the dance floor. And there's some good auctions that go on that go to benefit charity and stuff like that. And it's just it's a good night.
Now, where is it?
This is going to be at the Marriott in Prattville.
Marriott in Prattville. Okay.
Mm-hmm. July the 27th.
And what I guess all the information that'd be on the Grand Yorkite page,
right? Yes.
On just go to Glawful. I always have to say it to be able to spell it. GLOFAL I believe.
You
That'll
should
be the
find it.
Grand Lodge website, and you can go through there and find the appendant bodies page and everything, and it should have it on there, I would assume. Um, what else you got on there? Anything coming up?
Like I said, we went into the prayer for Brother Rusty. I think that's pretty much got everything. We'll talk about the open installation. I want to know
Yeah.
about this
Well,
trip that you took to Scotland.
well, before we get started on that, I owe you a congratulations on being elected the Worshipful Master of Coosa Valley Lodge number 929 down there in Sylacauga, and you
And
know
may
y'all
I
are going to have a
interrupt
great
you?
year.
I'm going to congratulate you on becoming the Worshipful Master and going into the East at B&M Jacobs number 643.
I
And that's
appreciate
pretty cool that we're both going
it.
in at the same time.
The
Like that.
imperfect
The
masters.
Imperfect Masters. Oh boy. There's Brother Joel Bryant here. That he'll have another nickname for us.
Yeah, I think both of us are going to have a good year, and we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But you were talking about, so I just got
I want to
back
know
from,
about Scotland.
yeah, I just got back from Scotland. I went a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, I wish I could. I'm gonna try to stick to masonry on this, but I did run into some masons. I didn't get to attend lodge; they go dark in the summer, and the reason I was given for that is because it's too hot to wear a suit. But I did get to visit Freemasons Hall, which is where they hold their. So they've got the main Grand Lodge, and then they have provincial Grand Lodges, which are like their state Grand Lodges, and that's where they hold their big Grand Lodge meeting. And they had actually had that meeting a few, seems like a few weeks before. I don't remember what all they said, but um, I did get to see some really old, really cool stuff. I'm actually going to bring up my pictures right now on the phone so I can remember everything. The Probably the coolest thing that I think that I got to see was the apron that Robert Burns wore
Wow.
and I'll
That's
have
awesome.
to find where I actually took the picture. I'm going through it. Oh, there's one from King George the Sixth. His when he was the Grand Master Mason is what they call it. They had his apron and
What year does that? Do you know what year that dates back to?
um early 1900s,
Wow.
around the 1930s or so. He was appointed past Grand Master in 1937, so early 1900s. Um, and I was trying to find that picture of Robert. There it is. Well, it don't have the date on there, but you can tell it's an old one. I've got. If anybody wants to email our email address, I'll send you a picture of it. But uh, the most odd thing that I saw. Now they've got stuff from all over the world from that are sent in from Masons and things like that. Um, One of the oddest things that I saw was a $1 million Confederate note,
Wow.
$1 million in Confederate money. And being from Alabama, I thought, I wonder if they'll let me sneak that out of here, see if I can get it cashed out
In the back
somewhere.
to the motherland
Yeah.
here.
But we did get to see a bunch of stuff, and I actually ran into a Mason from Virginia. We went on the same tour together, and
That's
that was
cool.
pretty neat. Um, the gift shop there. Now, a lot of the stuff they sell online. I don't know what their website is, but you can look up the Grand Lodge of Scotland. I did get a lapel pin that's got their the coat of arms for the Grand Lodge, and I bought a necktie in the tartan of the Grand Lodge of Scotland.
I want to tell you thank you for my lapel pin,
Yeah,
and
that
also
didn't come from there. I'll tell you about that.
the Roslyn's Chapel
Yeah,
medallion
yeah,
with the Knights Templar.
the original,
The
the old school Knights
Yeah,
Templar.
and I love it. Got the two guys riding in the horse together,
Yeah,
and explains on the back how originally they were so poor
yeah,
they could only afford one horse,
yeah.
and I've got that on my keychain. I really do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, and that's something I'll get into in a minute here too, because Rosalind Chapel has a huge history in masonry itself, I think. But most of those old chapels, um, and you can even see it. They've got a little miniature setup there of when the chapel was being built, and there's a little building sitting out beside, it, and that's what the Masons Lodge was. The Masons that were working on the building would have their lodges in that little building,
Wow,
and
that's
I thought
cool.
that was neat. Um, But back to the actual Grand Lodge, Freemasons Hall. I did get to see a bunch of old trowels that had been used in ceremonies that were, laying of a cornerstone, things like that. And most of them are engraved with what it was, but a couple of them you can still see a little bit of the mortar that was on there.
That's
I
awesome.
thought that was pretty neat. Uh, and they've got other stuff from around the world. They've got old setting malls and stuff like that. Just a bunch of neat stuff. And I highly recommend if anybody ever gets the chance to go to Scotland. In downtown Edinburgh, it's Freemasons Hall. It's easy to find, and it is well worth the hour and a half tour, and it's
Is the
free.
lodge room is it a really beautiful lodge room?
They don't actually have a lodge
Okay, no
room.
lodge room.
No, when
Okay.
they do their Grand Lodge, the Grand Master Mason will sit up, and it's kind of they don't. I'm trying to think how to explain it. They don't set it up like a lodge room. It's just he's sitting up there with all his officers, and then they've got people that are sitting out in the audience, basically
Oh, okay.
watching him. Um, Now, the same day, I left there and went to a place called Victoria Regalia, which is over just on the other side of Edinburgh Castle. And that, you know, traveling from Freemasons Hall to that store, I rounded a corner and I had to look up and I saw Edinburgh Castle and my jaw dropped. And I mean, I've never felt so small in my
Breathtaking.
life. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, took that walk and it was awful. I've never walked so much in my life. But went over to Victoria Regalia. They actually do all of the aprons, everything for all Masons in the UK, which I thought was pretty neat. That's actually where a lot of the lapel pins and stuff came from. I bought one for me that's got the thistle and everything. I bought the one for you that it just had the flag with the square and compass on it. Um, I'm trying to think. That might have been all I got there. I think it was. But I actually sat and talked to the guy that runs the shop. Obviously, he's a brother and very nice. I wish I could remember his name, but super nice guy. I watched him interact with a lot of his customers that were coming in that were not Masons. He treated them just like he would anybody else, like we're expected to do. Um, and other than that, I mean, just enjoyed looking at what he had. He had a lot of the painted aprons and stuff. Now, most everything that he had was more like, aprons and gloves and stuff. It was more geared toward UK masonry, but still just cool to see it. He explained a lot of the stuff to me
You should have
too.
brought you a set of those gloves back, a pair of those gloves back,
I
and worn
debated it.
them and worn them to longest. Yeah.
I debated it. Grand Lodge of Scotland actually had some too. So their Grand Lodge, their like main color, quote unquote, is green. So they had white gloves with the green square and compass on them, and they looked
I
sharp.
bet.
Oh, they looked good. Um, so anyway, going back to, and I will say, before while I was on the way to Victoria Regalia, I stopped at Burger King, of all places,
Burger King in Scotland.
and you can tell a huge difference. Their meat, you can tell how fresh it is, and it's thick. Oh my gosh, and their fries, oh, all of it is just fresh food. It's not processed. Processed food's illegal there,
Wow.
and
That's something we can
oh,
learn. We can learn from those people.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah,
real, for sure.
and I
Processed food is killing people.
oh yeah, I ate several of their meals over there, and I did Burger King and a McDonald's, both of them. Even like I said, the fries you
Boy,
could
you went
tell were
all
so
there,
much
all
better. Oh
Americanized, didn't
well, no,
you?
I did the traditional Scottish with the haggis and the black pudding and everything, and that was as good as it was better than the Burger King at McDonald's, to be honest. But
The
um,
picture that you sent me, it looked off the chain. I
no,
was
it
like, man,
was golly, it was amazing.
now
And I
we
did the fish and chips and everything, but and then going to Roslyn Chapel, that was the other kind of high point. I did another tour, but it's not really anything Masonic. It's more about a TV show that I love. But um, going to Roslyn Chapel, it was kind of the same way. You know, you walk in and it's like, oh my gosh, this place is huge, and these dudes built this by hand, and it's humbling. I mean,
without any power tools,
yeah, oh yeah, it
right?
was all
All hand tools.
yeah, the gavels and setting malls and trowels, and same stuff we use in our masonry. But going at it, talking about the history of Masonic, it was Masons obviously that built it, but there was a big Templar presence at Roslyn Chapel. They were actually, from what I remember, they were actually the ones that built it. Were the Templars? They were the Masons that built it. But going back to like Da Vinci Code and stuff like that, that's what kind of drew me to that. That's what drew me to Scotland. Like it drew me to Masonry, and just like I said, seeing it it's I don't have another word other than humbling, and just it makes you feel so small. It makes you realize there's so much more out in the world. Um, but they had a lot of Masonic stuff there. Most of it was a little too expensive for my taste. I did buy, and I don't think I've even shown you yet. They've got the master's pillar and the apprentice pillar. So the master mason had finished his pillar and had to go on some kind of pilgrimage. And when he had come back, he had an apprentice there that made his own pillar. Well, Master Mason got mad at him and killed him.
Wow.
So they have the Master Mason pillar and the entered apprentice or the apprentice pillar as
is that history or lore?
From what I understand, it's history because they're still standing. And the apprentice actually his is more quote unquote beautified. It looks better and and I've got some little columns of them. I bought some little miniature versions, and I'll bring them one day to show you. And if anybody again wants to email me, I'll send you a picture of them. You can probably look them up, I'm sure. But it was definitely, like I said, it was a trip well worth taking.
One that I hope to take in the future.
Well, and I plan on going back, and when I do, I'm going to take hopefully a little group with me. So
I thought you was going to bring one of those Scottish ladies back with you.
Well, there were a few, quite a few, but
we're gonna send you back over there and get you hitched.
I don't know about all that. If I do that, I might end up staying
across the pond.
But yeah, it's definitely next time I'm going to go to the Highlands and see some of that, and I'm going to go when the lodges are open because that was a lot of the reason I wanted to go was to go visit lodges.
Did you know that originally Scotland was where Ireland is? Originally, Scotland was where Ireland was, and that was considered Scotland. Mm-hmm. And somehow over time, those people that were there where Ireland is now migrated over to the northern part of the Great Britain, which is Scotland now. And it kind of just switched around, the Celts ended up over there.
Yeah, the way the accent sounds is very similar. I do know that in Scotland it's called Gaelic, and then Ireland it's called Gaelic. So there's it's different, and they'll say it's
heard
different.
Gaelic. Yeah.
But then you've got the English that it's completely different.
And when the reason I'm so interested in the Scotland thing is whenever I did the ancestry thing, swabs, saliva, and all that, and sent it off, and I got back my the results, the DNA results, and everything, and all of my DNA is pretty much located in that one area: Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Northern England.
I've got a lot of that area too. I did the same thing, and it's the same way with me. Which going into the ancestry stuff, I don't know my actual ancestry being adopted and everything. I've never gone through the family tree, but I did get to see a bunch of the old cool castles and stuff like that. That was very interesting. So that last tour I went on was the Outlander tour.
You didn't have one of those moments where I feel like I've been here before. Did you ever have that moment when you were there?
I would say the only time I really felt anything like that would have been probably at Roslyn Chapel, just from seeing the movie. Yeah, from seeing the movie and stuff. And like when you walk down, they go down into the crypts and they find all this big secret stuff and everything. And when you walk down those stairs, I kind of had that like, oh my gosh, I'm taking the same steps they did. This is cool. Yeah. So
was Roslyn and I'm not sure. There was the really beautiful one that was kind of domed. That wasn't it in the movie. It was kind of domed and white, more white inside? That wasn't Roslyn.
No, Roslyn, it's the old just stone. I mean, it's
Okay,
just you can kind of tell it's kind of brownish yellow on the outside, and the inside's dark, kind of. I mean,
right.
it's not like pitch
Very,
black,
yeah.
obviously, but it's
Used to
real.
be lit by candles
Yeah,
in the oil,
exactly.
right? Oil lamps.
And now they actually have like I guess battery powered chandeliers and stuff like that in there, but it's real pretty inside. I mean, they've got the stained glass and
So
everything.
what year would you guess, or if you know what year that was constructed?
It was, I'm going to say 1300s. I can look.
That is a long, long time ago. And the fact that a building that was built back then is still standing today, that attests to the craftsmanship of some of these early masons.
Oh, yeah. So I looked it up, and this is actually from the Roslyn Chapel website. It was founded, I don't know if that means built, but it was founded in 1446.
That is a long,
You might,
long,
you might,
long time ago.
you might think this is funny. So the guy that founded it, his name was Sir William St. Clair.
How about that?
I
Sinclair.
know they go back into the Sinclair family line or whatever, and that's what that whole stuff about Da Vinci Code. That's where all that goes back. It's royal blood and all something. I don't know, but
Priory of the Rose.
yeah.
Or was that a different one? I just remember the Priory of the Rose.
Um, but I thought that was pretty cool that it comes from St. Clair. So our county that we're in is St. Clair.
So I wonder if those were
St. Clair's.
probably settled by some of those.
It could have been. I think it was more or less just named after them, the St.
Okay.
Clair family. They were real prominent back then in that area. Um, and obviously you had clans everywhere, and at that time it was the Sinclairs.
Do we have Sinclairs in the Pell City area? Do you
Mm,
know? I wonder.
I, very well could be.
Hmm.
Not that I know
So
of, but
that's where the name St. Clair comes
mhm,
from Sinclair.
yeah.
It's cool. That's a cool little
And
piece of information.
that's what with you talking about ancestry and stuff. I don't know the name, the clans and stuff like that, but it's just cool seeing it, seeing all that old stuff.
William Wallace,
Yeah, they did say so. We passed on
Brother Bill.
that last tour I was going on. We actually passed by Stirling Castle, which is obviously in Stirling, and then they have the William Wallace Monument, and supposedly his claymore is inside of that. And the way I was talking to the tour guide on the side, and he said your claymore's supposed to come up to your shoulders, and his claymore was like 6'7". So they say he was probably 6'9" to 7 foot
A
tall.
giant
Yeah,
among men.
that's something that's always interested me is all that just that history. I
So
love.
you're saying that Mel Gibson
Oh, he's a heck
was
of a
too
lot
short for
shorter. Yeah.
that part?
Oh yeah.
They had to put him on
They
some
should have got
stilts instead of kilts.
they they should have got Andre the Giant or something to play that.
That's all.
But definitely, I will be back. If I don't move there, I'm probably going to start visiting pretty regularly.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I did hand out a
The
few of my
pictures you
cards.
sent
So
me and everything, I was like, I was I was a little bit jealous. I will admit that, but I'm glad you got to go on that trip and
I am
experience
too.
that. And I wish
Um,
it'd be a nice thing if we could go over there together sometime.
yeah, I would enjoy that. I get some guys from the lodge to go. Get some of the folks listening to go. We'll all go
Right?
sit in the lodge with them. We'll take over.
Wonder how that would roll.
Bunch of I ain't say that like Americans.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what I think with like especially with Scottish Rite, I'm gonna start wearing the kilt more often. I've got several of them already at home, but I'm gonna go buy some more and I'm gonna start
You just want to
kilting
wear a
it.
skirt.
Only a
Yeah.
skirt if you wear something under it.
Skirts. Oh man, yeah.
But
That would and I remember at the Robert Burns dinner that we
mhm.
attended, the guy was I forget his name, but he was there in the kilt and I thought that was real cool.
Yeah, I've been talking. So brother Zach Griffith, he's been a team of mine. He's a member at Lowe's Apache, but he's in the same valley as we are in the Scottish Rite, and he's talking about going and getting him a kilt too. So, well, that's we need to get you one. We'll all start
My
mashing.
legs are too skinny.
Nah,
Too skinny and too hairy.
nah. Once you get to wearing them and you see some of the stuff, you get the big thick socks and everything. It looks good put together, even on skinny guys. Get the you can get the tux. It's basically a tux jacket with the vest and everything. Throw your bow tie on. Yeah, you look good.
So we'll have to crash the We'll have to crash the Valley of Birmingham, I guess you'd say, with
Yeah.
some kilts on
Yeah.
here soon.
I
See how
love it.
that goes.
Oh yeah, I'm down. Especially like you said with the Robert Burns. I mean, that's a big Scottish thing that he's their national poet. And of course, with the haggis and everything. Of course, I didn't find out until I got back. The real haggis, quote unquote, is illegal in the States.
This is illegal in
Hmm.
the U.S.
Yep,
because
because
it
there's
has
lung, lung in it. Yep.
people eat gizzards and all kind of stuff. You can't eat a lung.
That's what I'm saying. We eat some stuff. We
Right.
can't eat a
We
lung.
can eat garbage, but we can't eat a lung.
Dang. And I've looked a little bit at that too, and I might get in one of those, like what do you call it, the support group supporting and getting it back legal over here.
So at the Robert Burns dinner, did you sample the haggis?
Oh yeah,
Was the haggis in Scotland any different as far as taste, texture, anything?
the texture was pretty close. It still had like the oats and everything in it, so it's a little bit crunchy, but um, taste wise, it was fairly different. I don't know how to explain how it was different,
Was
but
it
it
good?
was, yeah, oh yeah, it was
Okay.
very good.
Because I like
Now,
the haggis, and I think it was Zach that was the
yeah,
other Zach
yeah,
that was saying that he didn't like the haggis, but
yeah.
I really enjoyed the flavor of it.
The one we had, I've never really looked into it. I don't know if it's beef based or what. I think it's more kind of like hot dogs. They just kind of throw a bunch of stuff in there and hope for the best.
You're gonna process food?
Yeah. But we had that whiskey sauce that they offered us, and I immediately said, "Yeah, put me some of that on there." And I didn't have any sauce on the one in Scotland, and that was I, that may have been the taste difference. I don't know, but I would like to retry it and just see. Let's line them up side by side and see which one's better.
So the original haggis, the way that haggis was originally made,
Traditionally,
is illegal in the United States.
yep.
Wow, fun
And,
little fact.
but like I said, to me, it's better.
Mm.
And it may just be the intrigue in me thinking, well, that's the traditional way of doing it. So,
Right,
but and
and
that
we love
breakfast,
tradition, right?
I had the black pudding, which I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's actually the black color of it comes from the blood they put in it.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of it. It looked like a pile of poop on your plate.
I mean, it looks like sausage in person. It literally looks like sausage, but that's what it is. It's meat, and they've got
Black
blood that
pudding.
they put in it and make it
Black
black.
pudding.
Yep.
How about that? It tasted good, right?
Oh yeah, that's probably my favorite part of the breakfast, to be
Better
honest.
than the haggis.
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I know what to eat when I go to Scotland.
Yeah, shoot, yeah. I'll load us up with some haggis now. That was good stuff. We'll
Yeah, right.
get a couple of drams and and drams of whiskey and some haggis, but it was definitely. And I did try the what do they call it? The national beverage, the Iron Brew. It was not what I expected. It's a orange drink. Looks like an orange Fanta or Sunkist or something.
But it's a beer.
No, it's like a soda,
Oh, it's soda.
but
Okay,
it tastes
like a knee high.
well to me. Tasted like bubble gum, like that sweet kind of bubble gummy taste, almost like medicine though, kind of like a
Full of
mixture.
sugar.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I didn't even want to look. I just sipped on it and said, "Ah, it's all right."
Diabetes in a bottle.
Probably, but it was one of those things. I don't think I'd do that every day. But it was something I wanted to do. Of course, went to pubs and everything, and yeah, I think I've told you this, but I can't remember if I did or not, but so the Wednesday that I was there, I was supposed to go tour the Edinburgh Castle. And Tuesday night, I ran into some people. I met a guy from England, a girl from Canada, and we ran into another guy from Ireland. And we went quote unquote pub hopping. And I don't,
The pub crawl.
yeah, there you go, the pub girl.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
definitely some.
through the first couple and you crawl through the rest.
That's what I was gonna say. There was probably definitely some crawling involved. I got so drunk that night that I was not able to go to my Edinburgh Castle
Well,
tour.
I guess that's acceptable in Scotland, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was in, what do they call it? Diving into the culture, I guess you
That's
could
right.
say.
We can see that.
But it was still a fun night. I regretted it the next
Didn't
morning,
I
but
bet the trip went by a lot faster than you expected.
Yeah,
How many days were you over there? 7?
7. So we landed on Sunday and left on Saturday. And it kind of went by fast. Now there toward the end, it started getting a little bit slower because I'd have like 1 hour tour a day. And after a while, I was like, okay, well, I've already been to this place to eat. I've been over here. What else can I do? And I ended up one day, I think actually it was that Tuesday, I went to a distillery over there. It's the Port of Leith Distillery. And they're so new that their whiskey hasn't even come out yet.
Okay, everybody. So Zach went to Scotland. He went to distilleries and pubs.
Yeah.
And church.
Yeah.
Distilleries, pubs, and church.
Um, and it was interesting. Like I've been to the Jack Daniels distillery here, and they tell you more about the history, how they started, blah blah blah. They don't tell you a whole lot about how it's made. This place went step for step on how stuff's made, and that was pretty interesting. And they are also the tallest distillery in the world. They didn't have enough space to expand outwards, so they can expand upward.
How about that skyscraper brewery?
And that was pretty interesting. But I got to try some. They call it the new make spirit, which is like when it's moonshine kind of comes out, and it's hadn't been.
Yeah, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much. It's they haven't aged it, any of that. It's still that very high proof stuff. And then we tried some what do they call it, sherry, and then some port, and then a table whiskey that they're working on doing. And it was cool just seeing how it evolves through a lot of that stuff. Because like with the sherry and the port, that's something that they're selling now that's made somewhere else, but they're going to be adding it to their whiskey.
Sounds like a trip you need Prilosec with you.
Yeah, that probably would have been
some Prevacid or some Prilosec there with you.
But it's like I've said, it's definitely a trip, especially for somebody that's never been out of the country. It's very friendly. It's open. A lot of naturistic stuff. Even in like the big city in Edinburgh, there was a lot of parks and things like that. A lot of and even where I was staying, I was just off of the main road, not in downtown Edinburgh, but just up from there. And it's quiet. I mean, you can hear the traffic and stuff, but so I left my window open most of the time because they didn't
have sirens going by constantly.
No, not hardly. In fact, I only the whole time I was there only heard about 3.
I've been working in the Birmingham Mountain Brook area so long I don't even hear sirens anymore, man. I just go by and it's like there was some flashing lights.
It's rare. Like I said, they didn't have air conditioning where I was staying, so I left my window open and you can hear birds, and it's beautiful. And some of the places you go, you just get that. How do you not think there's a God? How could this have been made without God?
It couldn't.
I mean, it's so beautiful, and that's why next time I want to go to the Highlands and actually see a lot of the nature and the lochs and the big lakes and stuff. I'm gonna go catch Nessie. I'm gonna go catch the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
But it does. It really, like I've said, it's humbling. It's just amazing. That's the only way I know to put it.
Old world.
Oh yeah, very, very. So one of the places we went on, I took the Outlander tour. That's the TV show that I love. One of the places we went to, it's a little town called Carras, and basically the whole town, it was started as a fishing town and then it was a mining town. But it hasn't really been touched other than maybe like adding in some electricity and stuff like that since like the 16th century or something like that. That's what they said. And it's beautiful. Got the old cobblestone roads and the almost looks like stucco houses pretty much. But it's a beautiful little town. And that when we got there talking about it being quiet, it was silent there. All you could hear was the waves.
Did you go down to the beach?
No, I didn't ever go to the beach. Now, a lot of it where I was at was like port area. So they didn't have a whole lot of like shoreline, but there is some close by, but I didn't ever.
Rocky type stuff.
Talking about where I was at or at the beaches?
I was just thinking, I guess the beaches there are rocky. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I know
they don't have the sugar sands of Panama City or anything like that.
They've got some that's sandy, from what I've seen. but most of it, a lot of it, north and the Highlands and stuff is more like cliffs and
Yes, beautiful stuff.
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, Lord, yeah, I'd love to see all that. I can't. Well, let me rephrase that. I can't wait to see all
yeah.
that. But that's always been a dream, and it finally came true. So
So you were talking earlier about the gloves
yeah,
with the green uh, thing, and that made me immediately think of Revival Lodge
yep,
because
um,
when we went to the three times I've been to Revival three times and very
yeah.
impressed with that group of men,
I haven't
uh,
had the pleasure of getting
and
into it. I'm
their
excited to. Though.
their dress, you know.
Full on
Everybody's there in
tux.
tuxedos, gloves, everything is just so sharp and everything, and that's kind of leading into to what we got coming up, right?
Yep. So I know you were tagged in the email. But we've been talking with the guys from Revival, and we're planning on we've got to set it up. It won't be like tomorrow or anything. So, guys, if y'all are listening, don't we're
Now,
gonna get in touch with
if
you.
we could set it up, if you could get uh, Tony and them to agree, we could go the Saturday of if they're going to be at York. Right? I don't know if they'll be there or not. I'm not sure if they'll be there
Come out for Revival.
to record.
Oh, well, we make it arrange something
Make
like
that
that.
happen.
I'll have to see what I can figure out. I mean, family, kids and stuff, but um,
And who were the three? There's going to be. We are going to have uh, Sam Basu, is
yes,
that and Tony Horton and somebody else.
okay.
Eric Getty.
Yeah, there's three brothers that we're going to plan on having on the show. And we're going to try to dive into it a little bit. I still don't know a whole. I mean, I know you've been just like I have. We've read Observing the Craft, and we've seen it through them. You know what observant masonry is, but we're going to try to dive in and see what observant masonry means to them, and
It
maybe
makes
get
me
a
nervous, man. I look up to all those guys. Those guys kind of my heroes. Those
my
are some really good, solid Masons right
yes,
there.
oh yeah, and that's what you know. Well, we'll save all that for that episode, but I believe that we're gonna have to get our suits dry cleaned before they come.
That's cool.
But yeah, I believe that's gonna be it for today. We'll get back with you soon, and we'll have some guests on the show.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to that. A couple things I do want to mention is July the 12th, which is going to be Friday night.
Yeah, this
We've got
upcoming
open
Friday.
installation of officers, Coosa Valley number 929. And then the following Thursday, July the 18th, we've got open installation of officers at B&M Jacobs number
Yep.
643.
All are welcome. And I'm sure I know down there in Coosa Valley, y'all are gonna eat good.
Oh, yeah,
And
always.
I plan on, fingers crossed. I'm hoping Alvin can make it. And we're gonna do pizza.
Is that what we're going to do?
I hope so.
We're
Good old
not, the
homemade pizza.
Eastern Star ladies aren't going to be?
Don't know.
Don't know? Okay.
If I can have Alvin come, I'm gonna get him to come and do his homemade pizzas.
That is good stuff. It's
But
a lot of pizzas, depending on how many you
yeah,
bring, but Alvin
it's
can
a good
make some
point.
pizza.
Yeah, we might have to help him. But oh, and congratulations also to Brother Ben. He is also going to be installed the 18th as our junior warden at Ben Jacobs too.
That's right.
Got to mention that earlier
I
when
do appreciate
I
it.
was
I'm
focused on
looking
the
forward
worship
to
master
that.
thing.
Looking forward to it. I'm still a little bit nervous.
Yeah,
You know,
holding two offices. That's
yeah,
gonna be
two
fun.
offices and just I love both my lodges.
I understand
You
that.
know, I would like to say that I have a favorite out of them, but I don't. You
Yeah,
know, it's
I mean,
large. I love the brethren at Ben Jacobs. I love the brethren at Coosa Valley, and looking forward to sitting in both of those stations.
yeah, I understand that. Well,
I'm looking
congratulations
forward to
again.
you being in the East. I think it's going to
Uh,
breed
I am
some new
nervous.
blood and stuff in
Yeah,
there that we need. You coming in to the East at B&M Jacobs, real quick rundown. What are some of your ideas as to what are some of your plans for the upcoming year?
that's actually a good question. I'm going to ask you the same thing here in a second. To
I bet
me,
our questions and answers are about the same.
probably. Um, I've got a few ideas. Like I said, I'm very nervous about getting in. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. I don't know what to expect, and I hope I can do the brethren right. Um, I do want to focus on mainly our membership. not only new membership, but current membership. Get some of those guys that haven't been coming around as much, try to get them coming back. Um, Try to get out in the community more. No, I don't know if our listeners have ever heard it or not, but we actually have renters downstairs, and we make a good chunk of our money from them every month, and we're very blessed to have that. But that also means that our dues are very low, which is nice. But I would like to see those dues come up some. I know a lot of folks in our lodge are gonna hate me for that, but I would like to see our dues come up some and be able to, if need be, if those renters were to leave or something was to
Yeah.
happen, be able to
Not
be
getting too
self-sufficient.
much of the business or anything, but yeah, you can't, you don't want to keep all your tricks in one bag.
Oh, yeah.
So if we were to lose that all of a sudden, we wouldn't, it'd be an overnight, hey, let's jack up the membership
Yeah.
dues. So it's something that
And
needs to be
I would always
addressed.
like to see it come up some, not anything outrageous, but, and like I said, get out in the community more. We've got a bunch of stuff around Pell City that the block party, Lake Fest, the nights out with the police and fire and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to get us out and
There's so much
do
going on
something.
around that civic center.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, Pale City
Christmas
is
lights
a
and
perfect opportunity for us to branch out into the community.
right, exactly. And there's
And to
having the
not seize
lake.
on
Yeah,
that, would just, it's just a terrible waste.
yeah, I agree. And it's something that I've been thinking of for a long time. I've brought it up here and there about what we could do and things like that. And I've spoke with you a bunch about stuff like this. Being right here on the lake, fishing and boating and
Fish
just
tournament,
all
yes.
kind of stuff. Summers, go out to the park, just hand out water at the park. I mean, that's
I'm
something
gonna keep
small
pumping
that,
that fish tournament until it happens.
yeah, I hear that. We're both masters this year. We can collaborate because y'all
Yeah,
are on a lake too down there.
that's right. And we have a good tournament going on that raises a lot of funds
Yeah.
for scholarships and I think this year we gave out. I want to say we gave out 8 scholarships this year.
Wow.
8 scholarships.
I think that we did them year before last.
And by the
Well, it was
way,
last year.
I was really
Yeah.
upset with my daughter because she was slow and she had a whole lot of she's going to school to become a veterinarian and she had a whole lot of work. I mean, and I understand, and she missed the deadline
Wow.
for our lodge's
Yeah.
scholarship, and I was just like, I was kind of heated about it, but she had sent off the scholarship application for the Grand Lodge, and she did get that.
Good.
Yeah,
And
so
congratulations to her.
she pulled an ace out of the
Yeah.
hole right there at the end. Because I was going, my plans were to have her at open installations because we're going to present all these students with their scholarships, and I wanted her to be sitting there to see it.
Oh, yeah.
But she told me, she said, "Oh, by the way, I got the Grand Lodge scholarship."
Well, that's
So
good. Yeah.
I ate crow a little bit on that one.
That's something I want to get back into is more charity stuff, scholarships, individual charities, maybe helping out some of the York Rite or Scottish Rite charities, things like that.
So here, you're going to ask me. Here's my list.
Okay.
Okay, more community involvement.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you said, right?
Mhm.
Seeking out the missing brethren.
Yeah.
Okay, getting our brothers back in, charity fundraising,
Yeah.
and I'd like to see more work in the lodge.
Yeah.
As far as degree work,
Yeah, more practice.
Instead of let's stop reading minutes, good of the order, and going home. Let's do some work.
Yeah.
Let's make lodge interesting to our entered apprentices, so they want to come to lodge. They're like, "Hey, man, last time they went over the entered apprentice lesson, maybe they'll do the fellowcraft this time. I'm going to be there and make sure." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. And
So it looks
to me that
looks like our plans are the same.
well, and one of the things that I've thought about talking about the more work thing, I actually think I'm gonna get like a little dartboard, and I'm gonna put it on the wall over there above Paul's head, our secretary, and I'm gonna throw a dart at it and pray I don't hit the ball.
Put Paul's eye out.
But I'm gonna do something like that where we do something random every time.
That'd be cool.
Just pick something.
So the dartboard is whether we play Masonic baseball or whether we go through the EA or
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Maybe I should come up with some little idea like that's a good
and
idea.
it keeps everybody on their toes.
Keeps everyone on toes.
I mean, you gotta
No way to prepare.
exactly. I mean, you might walk in and we might be asking questions. We might be just doing floor work. We might just be doing verbiage. Who knows? Let's see what happens. That's just an idea, though. I agree with that, though. More work. I would like, eventually for our lodge in itself to be able to put on all 3 degrees and not have to ask for help. I don't know if that'll ever be possible. We'll see.
It will. It will.
But I would like to see that. I would like to see a lodge room full. Um, and one thing, and I haven't really made this very public yet, but one thing that I would like to try to do while I am sitting in the monster seat. So the motel that was there behind our lodge,
Right.
they've torn it down, and I would like to buy that and try to get more parking, at least more parking. Maybe
Just to
set
have
up a
picnics.
little grill area.
We could even put a playground out there for the kids.
Yeah, yeah. But I would like to see that happen.
That's a really nice place.
I've been talking with some brethren about trying to get in touch with the people that own it and see if we can't work something out. So, but other than that, I mean, you hit on exactly the same stuff I am.
It's the same stuff, and it's stuff that probably stuff that needs to be addressed in each lodge in America.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm sure there's some that we would call
points.
that we would call a perfect lodge, but they're still going to have a flaw
There's
somewhere.
No such thing as perfect.
Very good. Very good point.
We strive for perfection.
Yeah, there you go.
We strive for perfection, but
sure
we're still those imperfect ash lodges.
Yeah. And I think, I think with talking with the guys from Revival, I think that's going to renew a little something, at least in me, and I'm sure it will in you too. But the perfection of the work, things like that.
I've been reading Hammer's book,
Observing
the Craft,
yeah,
and I actually heard him when he came to Revival Lodge. I went there for that meeting, but very interesting book.
Oh yeah.
I mean, attention captivating, and I can't put it down, and I'm about through with it. Just some of the illustrations that he gave as far as comparing masonry to a meal, just stuff like that. And the way he wrote things down and explained what observing the craft is. And it's given me a completely different view of the way we do things.
Right. Mainly of Blue Lodge. I know he
symbolic lodge.
He kind of doesn't really kick the independent
bodies.
but
he does.
Well, he
does.
Observant masonry to me is the same way he views it. It's about Blue Lodge.
It's about
that's
Blue
where
Lodge.
your main focus needs to be. And I love the York Rite. I love the Scottish Rite. I love the Shrine. All these bodies I'm in. And yeah, I don't have time to do them as much. I'm not there a lot. And it's not because I don't want to be, but I love putting the focus in the Blue Lodge. And that's that's what masonry is the Blue Lodge.
That's where it all started.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll hopefully within the next couple of weeks be able to sit down with these guys and have a good long conversation and maybe see what, like we've said before, what masonry means to them, what observant masonry means to them, and why they're drawn to observant masonry. I mean, it has a draw on me too. I love the precision. I love the attire and the tuxes, and I love going in there and looking sharp and being able to do that work. Just
we had a conversation at Lodge the other night about dress. We saw it here a while back. When people walk into the lodge with flip flops and shorts on.
Yeah.
And I like the way that Hammer said it. He said that, if you can't adhere to a little bit of a dress code, then how are you going to adhere to the rest of the principles and the rest of the things that we teach in masonry if you can't even dress correctly?
Right. I mean, and we don't ask for much. And that's something I learned in Scotland as well, too, at Freemasons Hall. A lot of their guys are jealous that we're so relaxed. And I'm like, brother, I would love to go to lodge every week in a suit. And they're like, you go every week? We go, once a month. And I'm like, wow, okay,
And you can't put a
and
suit
here,
on for once a month.
yeah, and here we are, I feel like, we meet every week and seeing some of those guys over there, coming through in suits because they had all their Grand Lodge officers and stuff were there. And I just, it was a culture shock, a Masonic culture shock is what it was. I mean, seeing these guys that, um, just respect it so much. And, it's like we've said before, it's the oldest fraternity in the world. And Scotland actually has in one of their lodges, I can't remember which one, um, physical minutes, a minute book from, I think 1599, 1500 and something. Now I'm sure it's
That's
decrepit and just
unbelievable.
nasty looking, but
That is unbelievable.
that blows my mind.
That does.
But like I said, and like you said, I mean, we've got,
That kind of brings in that when we talk about ancient
yeah,
craft,
yeah,
that's ancient craft right
it
there.
is. And that's some of the first when they were moving from operative to symbolic masonry. And they're still, if I'm not mistaken, they may be defunct now, but up until, maybe early 20th century, they still had operative lodges where it was just stonemasons. And I think that's pretty cool seeing that just history of it. I mean, that's literally what we come from.
That's
But,
right.
going back to the dress and everything, at our lodge at Ben M. Jacobs, the only requirements are you wear closed-toed shoes, long pants, and a shirt with sleeves.
I thought it was a collared shirt. No,
Mm-mm.
a
Nope,
shirt
a
sleeve.
shirt with
Okay.
sleeves. It can be a t-shirt as long as it has sleeves on it. Um, I would like to see it in at least a collared shirt. I mean, it
There you
just
go.
for
There you go, worshipful.
well, I'm not gonna just clown on anybody, but it's just out of respect for
That's
masonry.
hey,
I mean,
and I
you're not
know
gonna
that
wear
sometimes
shorts
we
and flip
work
flops to
late.
go to
Sometimes
church.
we work late. Sometimes
Yeah,
we come in on two wheels, but fair.
yeah.
Put your collared shirt behind the
I
seat of your
mean,
truck and your car, or
there's
whatever.
days I get off work
We
at
don't want to
six
smell that
o'clock.
sweaty t-shirt anyway.
There's days I get off work at 6 o'clock and I've been there all day, but that morning, I try to make sure I've at least got a collared shirt on. I have to wear long pants for work anyway, but I try to make myself look presentable, like I'm maybe going to church. I usually will try to wear a
Yeah, just for
button
kicks,
down.
sometimes me and Zach will get on the phone and be like, "Hey, let's wear a suit
Yeah,
tonight,"
yeah.
and we'll show up there in our three-piece suits, and everybody's like, "Hey, what's going
Where
on?
y'all going to
Where y'all
preach
going?
tonight?
What's going on? Where y'all going preaching?" Yeah,
And that's something, with the installations. I don't know how you're planning on doing yours with ours. For me, it's going to be a coat and tie,
yeah, we're
at
cutting
least a coat and tie. And there might be an occasion where one Thursday night I might just be like, "Hey, y'all, next week let's wear a suit, something like that.
see
Just
how that goes over.
everybody dress up, look nice for one."
Lodge,
Um,
me and you there.
but
We have a couple guys,
anytime I go to a conference or a Master Mason, especially Master Mason degree, but any kind of degree, I try to dress up. So,
and not probably, we should.
yeah. It's just it makes you look good. It makes your lodge look
What's going to
good.
make us stand out as Masons? You know,
I mean,
what's going
knowing
to,
your work
no, and that, no, I'm just talking about from a
in the
okay
community type thing.
in a community. Okay, when people ride by our lodge and they see guys just walking in there with street clothes on,
Yeah.
I say, well, it's just a bunch of guys go. But they see men walking in there with suits on
Mm-hmm.
and dressed up in good attire. Then that maybe sparks some what's going on in there. You know, everybody
And that's
and men love to get dressed up,
yeah,
and women love it when men get dressed up.
yeah. Well, and that's part of why I'm growing my hair out too.
It looks good. It looks
Trying to
good.
get
I
it
was
where
going to comment you on that
well, I
hair,
appreciate
and
it.
I wish I could have some of it.
Well, I'll give you all you want.
Yeah,
Make you a wig.
yeah, making a little weave up here.
I've been rewatching Outlander to see a lot of the places I went to, and they have the old 17th or the 18th century wigs on, the old George Washington wigs. I thought about buying me one of those and wearing it for my installation,
There you go.
but no, that we would definitely love to have folks come out, support the lodges when we do our installations. Just come visit. Then in Jacobs, we meet on Thursday nights. We usually get there 5:30 to 6 o'clock. We'll eat and have a little fellowship before we start, and we'll start at 7. And I believe y'all are the same at Coos Valley, aren't you? Don't y'all?
Yeah, we started. You're talking about for the installation?
Well, just for meetings in general.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
We usually get there early, just like we
about
did
6
at Benny
o'clock.
J. Yeah, about
Yeah.
6 o'clock, 6:30, and then hang out till 7.
Yeah, I figured we would just open invitation to anybody listening that is a Mason. You're more than welcome to come sit in lodge with us. And if you're not a Mason, just come visit, hang out, come eat with us. We won't charge you anything, but donations are accepted. And other than that, we'd just love to see some of our old guys coming back. Like we've said before, we don't do this podcast for money. This is strictly out of the love we have for Masonry.
That's right.
But other than that, I believe we're going to end it right there, and we will get back with you hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. And like I said, we'll have some guests on with us and get to know a little something about observant Masonry. But until then,
we are the imperfect Ashlars.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.